The following broadcast is a presentation of iRacing Motorsport Simulations live on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our partners for their support.
He may get the run on the outside off of the back straightaway. 26 and Hallmark trying to go 3 wide. No one's with them.
Talking and bobbing and weaving down the back straightaway, looking for a way around. The 5 machine trying to take a look underneath the 3 car. He's gonna dive in down to the bottom. A huge move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Back bumper. Can anything happen through the tri-oval? Walker Thomas to the inside. Here he comes to the outside. Side by side through the tri-oval. The 14. It's going to be a photo finish to the line. Who's going to get it?
Walker Thomas. Machine coming out of turn number 4. Tiller looking to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. He's going to try to look for a gap. Bobbing and weaving for the lead down through the tri-oval.
Photo finish.
2 by 2. The 65 gets the win.
Welcome back, race fans, to another PTRTV on LSRTV coverage. Tonight, we are back with the ASRS, the American Sim Racing Series, and their Truck Series, the Sam Maxwell Customs ASRS Truck Series. Tonight, it's the Michigan 150 here at the Michigan Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. 75 laps around this 2-mile facility in the Camping World Truck Series. Bringing you the calls tonight is myself, Corey Silva. Again, I got my partner Evan Black with me. Of course, I'm manning the cameras, and of course, we got Silent Joe, Mr. Joe Chris, behind the scenes helping us out with some calls, and we'll always appreciate what he does do for us, even though you may not get to experience it on your end. But Evan, 75 laps here in the Irish Hills. Well, Michigan, we do know in the trucks, a lot of times it is a near flat-out experience, a lot of drafting, but maybe a little bit of tire wear coming into play. They may start slipping and sliding. Is that what you expect as well?
Yeah, I turned some laps before I hopped in here into the booth, and it was full throttle out there, most definitely. So that's probably going to add in with the drafting, like you said, Corey, but there is definitely going to be tire wear. You are not going to be full throttle for this entire race. Probably only 1, 2, 3 laps, you're going to be full throttle, and then you're going to be having to start lifting.
Yeah, so you're going to have to manage whether or not you want to use the tires up in those first couple laps, whether you think that you can make those positions up while going full throttle, or whether you want to try to save something and minimize the slipping and sliding. It does look from the lighting like we are in the morning time. I always struggle between morning and late afternoon, but regardless of the two, there is going to be more grip available for these drivers, so we'll see if that does come into play. Have a large field here today, and well, more drivers in the field than will make the show. We have 40 drivers here, and 36 will make the field. Don't have the exact drivers who did not make it, but we can see Brian Yazik has yet to turn a time, Mitch Brown. Those drivers always are locked in, so there will be a couple drivers being sent home tonight. And, well, tough call for them, but a large field, so that's how it works out. But a little bit of a glance at the point standings. Last race we had was at the end of July on the 24th at Pocono, and from what I remember, Evan, that was not a very clean race, and it did tighten up the standings. Jared Mogart only 3 points behind Brian Yazik at the top of the board. Behind that, we have Jordan Ashland, 49 back in third, Nick Curling, 57 back in fourth, and Jason Stewart, 65 back in the fifth spot in points.
Yeah, pretty close out there for those top two. Only 3 points separating them, and it looks like, at least for right now, they're going to be starting in the back together. Mogart currently 36, and Janzik has not turned the time yet, so they're going to be starting in the back.
Yeah, so that's going to be a situation to watch if they can get themselves through the field and see if they can put on a show for us. Hopefully they can, because, well, that's always a fun thing to watch. But that is the end of qualifying. I see cars lining up on the grid, so we got to give you the start and lineup here. The PTRTV on LSRTV starting lineup here from the Michigan Speedway. On the pole with a lap time of 40.537, Tyler Seville, P1 here tonight. Mark Cohn outside of the front row. We have Sam Maxwell, series sponsor, in P3. Devin Serra in position number 4, and it'd help if I hit the right graphic there. In 5th, we have Nick Curling, Jordan Ashland 5th and 6th, and then Caleb Finn and Jared Haggerty 7th and 8th.
And rolling off in 9th, we have Clarence Bonner, Mark Emerson to his outside. Pete Baskins back there in 11th, Steve Buhala in 12th, Andy Veltman 13th, Chris Owens 14th, Richard Stallings 15th, and Chris Titus in 16th.
And then we have Jason Stewart in 17th, Jay Graves Jr. in P18, Tommy Cannon in 19th, rounding out your top 20 is Robbie Baskins. Jim Foose in 21st, David Hudson in 22nd, Jeremiah Vincent and Brandon Kreutz rounding out row 12.
And we have Tim Knott in 25th, Kenny Baker 26th, Christopher Gaither in 27th, Zach Calloway 28th, Jordan Harnish 29th, Troy Haight 30th, Richard Fletcher 31st, and John Kennedy 32nd.
And again, the drivers from this point on back, I'm not honestly sure which ones will qualify, which ones
Corey,
will not.
The drivers going home is the 74, JT Littler and Scott Holler.
All right, so then we have Kurt Quist. We are going to skip over JT Littler. He did not make the show. We'll skip over Scott Holler. Then we have Jared Mogard, Mitch Brown, Brian Yazik, Nick Kaufman, and John Martin.
Which Martin is not in the session and Kaufman is an admin, so Brian Yazik is going to be rolling off 36th.
So there you go. Take a little bit of a grain of salt with those last drivers that I listed there. Again, the overlays have all the data, but some drivers manually are removed, just again due to drivers who are locked in, and of course the qualifying order. But let's take a look at the weather conditions here tonight at Michigan. It is 81 degrees in the air, 85 on the track, so cooler track temps for these guys tonight. About a 7-mile-an-hour wind, so nothing overly dramatic there. If anything, as we said, with the weather conditions and the lighting here tonight, a little bit more grip on the speedway than normally we would have.
Yeah, it's going to be a very grippy track out there for these drivers, and that's kind of what helps them aid to where they can run full throttle, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see how that does play out. Again, it's Tuesday night, and thanks everyone for tuning in to coverage of tonight's Sam Maxwell Customs ASRS Truck Series here. Again, PTRTV on LSRTV is where we are at tonight, and looking to put on a good show. We come down the back straightaway here at Michigan Speedway with Tyler Seville on that front row, Mark Cohn to his outside. Evan, what is going to be the preferred groove here for these restarts here in Michigan?
Well, going down to turn 1, you're going to want to be down on the bottom, but generally at this track, you want to kind of be in the second, third lane, generally the second, just so you can kind of pinch down that guy on the inside. But with these trucks, with how low powered they are, I think we might see that lower lane work. It's got a little bit less banking, but might be able to make it work.
Yeah, we'll see if that is the case here. We come through corners number 3 and 4, and we're ready to get a night of racing underway. Pace car is in. We wait for Seville to get this race underway. He's going to go late in the restart zone. Waiting. Green flag in the air. We are racing in Michigan, and Mark Cohn did not get going.
Mark Cohn stacking up that entire outside lane. Sam Maxwell now clear of him for second. And who's that trying to get under that one? Devin Serra in the 20 trying to get underneath Mark Cohn as to go down into turn number 1. Cohn all the way up there in that third lane. Serra all on that yellow line. He might clear him out of 2. It's going to be close. Cohn hanging there on that outside, right on this right rear quarter panel, but it looks like Serra's going to clear. No, he's not. Mark Cohn with the run down the backstretch.
Maxwell used that as an opportunity to get into the second position. Headed down the back straightaway. He'll set his sights on your leader, but Serra will sail it off in there into corner number 3 and clear the 1. The 1 will fall back in line, so completing lap number 1. We're single file for the top 4. That's short-lived. Cohn looking to the inside, but nothing doing. We go back in the field, though. They aren't done settling these battles out. We have Jared Haggerty and Caleb Finn. This is for 7th. On that inside lane is the 91 of Finn. As you talked about, Evan, there's less banking down there. It's harder to keep that truck down there. That's why Haggerty's using that momentum up top, and he'll get the spot off too.
There's Mark Emerson now to the outside of Caleb Finn. Now with Finn just being down on the inside, he just keeps getting bogged down, losing all his momentum on corner exits, and he's just going to probably drop to the back until he can find a spot to get in line, which he's not going to be able to here. He might be able to get up behind that 22, but looks like the 13 is going to try to fill the gap.
Yeah, Clarence Bonner, that number 13, he's going to try to get to the outside, to that right rear of the 91 of Finn, and he will do that. That will stick that 91 down there on the inside unless he can sail it off in there and try to clear him. But while that's going on, we got positions shaking up front. Here comes Sam Maxwell to the top, Serra to the inside off of corner number 2. They're going to be drag racing down the 3M back straightaway here at Michigan. Maxwell will clear. Now Cohn to the outside of Serra.
Yeah, at this track, especially in these trucks, it's just so momentum based. If you just get a little bit checked up, you're going to lose a spot or 2. And now Cohn, it looks like he might be able to get by Serra here. Down the front stretch, Cohn's going to have the advantage at the line. See if either driver can clear as they get ready to go down into turn 1.
Yeah, it does appear that truck to the outside, Mark Cohn, he's kind of holding Serra up, using the track as his defensive strategy as the 20 goes right down to that yellow line, to that lack there of banking. Maxwell nearly in the fence, somebody in the fence off too. I saw Sparks kick up, but everyone's, oh, in the back of the pack, someone in the wall, so everyone is all over the racetrack right now.
Yeah, at least Nick Curling and Jordan Ashland both got the wall there out of turn 2, and it sounded like a few others might have got it as well. But pretty close up there for the lead. You can kind of see over the draft taking place where down the straightaway, Sam Maxwell can kind of close in a little bit. Not as much as, it's not going to play a huge factor into tonight, but you definitely can get a draft.
Yeah, we'll have to see. You can see a little bit of bump drafting has taken place, but one thing I'm looking at, Evan, I'm looking at those cold-blooded racing machines, the 22 and the 27, Ashland and Emerson. We see them at the front of many of these packs. Right now they are running with Clarence Bonner being the meat in the sandwich right now. Jordan Ashland trying to navigate his way through the traffic right now. Ashland did start in 6th, has dropped back, trying to get that time back, but didn't have a good corner there. The 91 will gain some time on him. But right now, Mark Emerson trying to close in on Haggerty. That is for 6th, as about 10 trucks pretty much running nose to tail right now.
Yeah, Emerson started in 10th, so he's plus 3 spots so far, and trying to close in on that 6th of Haggerty, but it looks like the 13 of Bonner is going to get a run on him down the backstretch, pulling to the inside. As they get ready to go down into turn 3, we'll see if that 13 of Bonner can make it stick down there on the bottom, which has not been where you want to be. But we'll see if he can do it.
Evan, I'm going to cut you off, Evan, only because we have a battle for the lead right now. Maxwell looks to the inside of Seville off corner number 4. Doesn't have the momentum off of 4 down the front straightaway, so he falls back in line. But that did set up the 1 with a little bit of momentum. He closed in right to the bumper of the 98, trying to find a way to pounce on that situation.
Mark Cohn trying to get his nose underneath that 98 of Maxwell, just trying to get some clean air on the front of that truck through these corners. And Tyler Seville looks like he's really starting to struggle with the front turn on that truck. He's starting to get pretty tight, it looks like, losing a lot of speed through the center of these corners. So see if Maxwell can maybe try and set him up and get by him.
Now, Evan, we talked about it, I think, yesterday in our broadcast at Watkins Glen, and we talked about it in the past, but there's kind of a weird situation here on iRacing where the driver in 2nd, for a reason announced to us, actually handles better running behind someone versus being the lead truck. Do you think that has any play right now for maybe Maxwell or Seville?
It might, but it seems like it generally does that in like the Xfinity and Cup cars, just because they generally are a little bit looser than these trucks. I think if you got a loose car and you're behind someone, and we have caution out now.
Well, Haggerty on the back straightaway.
That was not the cause of the caution, I don't think.
Trying to see who we do have slow. I mean, we did see Haggerty get loose off of 2. It was not the cause of the caution. Trying to see if there's any.
The caution was
87 of
87,
Kenny Baker.
Yeah.
But there was a side situation there that occurred with Jared Haggerty. But what happened to Baker? Oh, we got to scroll back a little bit further. We didn't quite catch that. He was battling with the 47 of Richard Fletcher, and someone came up or someone came down. But
looks like Baker just kind of slid up the track there. Trying to get a little bit wider of an entry down into 1, and Fletcher was there.
Now, I'm also curious what happened. Oh, Haggerty, he got turned off of corner number 2 there. He got turned by, it was one.
Is that Emerson?
It was one of those.
Yeah, it's the 22 of Emerson.
Yes, it was. Emerson off of corner number 2. Just maybe thought he was clear. He wasn't, Haggerty. Luckily here in Michigan, there's buku's amount of pavement there to spin off to, so he was able to get going there without any issue. And pit road is open here. We've run 9 laps, and I expect a lot of 4-tire pit stop changes.
Yeah, I doubt anyone's going to try 2 tires here, but we'll see. If you're going to do it early, and so you have some time to gain some spots back. We'll see if anyone does try that here, but like Corey said, I expect 4 tires.
Yep, and will anybody try to get a bonus point? Doesn't appear that anybody has stayed on the speedway, so pit road is the place to be. We saw last night in our integrity racing coverage that a couple drivers slid their pit boxes, and one of that cost somebody the race. You got to get in that pit box smoothly. The 11 did not do that. He had to back up about 2 feet. He's just now getting service on his vehicle, so that 11 most certainly is going to lose the lead on the sequence of events.
So it looks like Maxwell is going to win the race off pit road.
He will lose 2 spots and potentially more. Depends how the 45 and the 22 got scored there at the exit of pit lane. So costly mistake for Seville. He may be in the 5th spot, it appears. All because of just a little bit too much, a little bit too hard into that pit stall. It seems ever since iRacing has had the update to bring us those very nice looking animated pit crews, that pit box is a lot more finicky. It's a lot narrower, so if you need to be a lot more precise with your entry into the pit box, and not very difficult at all to make that mistake.
Here's Seville. Looks like he came out of pit road in 3rd, so he got by that 45 and 22, so only lost 2 spots there, which isn't too bad.
Well, could have been a lot worse. It'll put him in a position where he is on the inside, and he will be right behind Sam Maxwell, who will be the control truck on this restart. Sam Maxwell currently in the 9th spot in points, and he did have 1 win this season. That win coming at Kansas Speedway, as we pull up the stat sheet here. So looking for his 2nd win of the season. Sam Maxwell 24th at Pocono, and didn't start at Eldora, 10th at Kentucky, 29th at Chicago. So he could really use a good run, that number 98.
You talking about him winning at Kansas? I guess you could kind of compare this track a little bit to Kansas, at least in these trucks. You're kind of full throttle for most of it. You're not running up against the wall like you are at Kansas, but there's definitely a draft and mostly full throttle. And
kind of only one place to run, at least where we are in the trucks. I don't think the groove is going to progress. I mean, I've watched some Peak Antifreeze Series races, and they had that groove all the way up to the wall in 3 and 4. I don't think we're going to have that tonight, just due to the nature of the race and short distance, and the trucks obviously not having the same load as the Cup cars do. So you're going to have pretty much one lane to drive in, and I think passing of it is going to be pretty hard. It's going to be about trying to get to the inside of someone into 3, I believe, or to the outside of someone in 1 and 2.
Kind of seems like these drivers are wanting to kind of, if they're by themselves just running, they want to be in the bottom, and the passing lane is the second lane.
Yeah, because you don't want to be bogged down with this track, kind of in a similar vein to Pocono even. It's such a momentum-based track, so if you lose a mile an hour or 2 being pinched down on that inside, that is going to carry over to these long straightaways, and where everyone's running so close to you, they're going to draft by you, they're going to go to the inside, they're going to split you 3 wide, so it's all about keeping that momentum wound up, which is why the top does have its advantages here at Michigan. But lights out on the pace car, so Maxwell will lead him to the inside. He will have Mark Cohn, who started the race, in second, and he will be right back here for this first restart. Seville and Nick Curling in the second row.
It's going to be interesting to see how this goes for Tyler Seville. He has a pretty good chance where if he can get going when Maxwell does, he could either push Maxwell or maybe pull to his inside. He just has to make sure he does that after the start finish, but if he times it right, this could be big for him.
Yeah, most certainly that is the case, and of course you got Devin Serra and Mark Emerson right behind them, 2 aggressive drivers who aren't afraid to make the moves to get up there, so should be a interesting show. Again, only 1 car off of the lead lap at this point. That is Kenny Baker, who was involved in that caution, so 35 trucks on the lead lap, still all 36 trucks getting ready to continue this restart. Pace car is in 3 and 4. Remember, once that pace car is in, open rein for Maxwell to go whenever he does choose to do so. And, well, here comes the pace car. Now it's in. When does Maxwell get this race underway? He's going to go a little bit earlier. He's on the loud pedal. We are back racing. Cohn stayed with him a lot better that time.
Yeah, Cohn did get going pretty good there. He's going to clear Seville, so no worry about that, as Devin Serra duck underneath that 45 Nick Curling for the 4th position as they go down into turn 1. This is where you really need to be down on that bottom lane, turn 1 on the first lap after a restart. And Devin Serra not quite going to be able to clear that 45, but it's going to be close down the backstretch.
Yep, down the back straightaway we go here at Michigan Speedway into corner number 3. Here comes Cohn with a look to the inside. He's going for the lead. He goes all the way down to that white line. Maxwell's not going to give him much room. Cohn drove it too deep into the corner. Now Seville trying to go to the outside, taking advantage of that situation. 20 in the 45, side by side right behind them. Maxwell blocking both sides of the highway, trying to cut the draft.
And now we might have a little 3 wide going on here as the 20 and the 45 both have a run on the 1, but they did not go 3 wide there. It's kind of close though, but going down into 1, just with Mark Cohn, he tried to make that pass going into 3, and he's going to lose. He lost at least 1 spot, might lose a few more here as Nick Curling is trying to get by him. Might give him a little bit of a bump draft here. There he goes, give him a push down to 3.
Yeah, Cohn, he made that move on it with the 22.
Oh, Mark Emerson sideways into the wall.
Oh, that's going to be a wreck. That's going to be, here comes Jason Stewart sideways, 22, 91. Yazik will sneak his way through. So 22 got loose on the entry of the corner and was never able to recover from it. Let's go on PTRTV replay and we'll go on board, try to see what happened exactly. It looked from the cockpit like he got hit, but in actuality, did he?
Yeah, him and Sarah had a little bit of contact there.
That may have been a little bit of net code, but I think it was close enough that it would have been. It probably should have been contact. And look at Jason Stewart. Oh my God, we got to go on board with Jason Stewart because he just got annihilated there. Had nowhere to go. See, in that 7 machine, he enters corner number 3. He sees that wreck ahead of him. He cuts right to the inside, and boom, that top just got, he just spinning top, and Stewart had nowhere to go. Hopefully wrecks like that, iRacing announcing that their new damage model is coming much closer to completion, and it's been told that wrecks like that, where those trucks kind of go into spinning top mode, that should be alleviated with the new model, and parts coming off and better energy dissipation, so hopefully that will avoid wrecks like that in the future. But regardless, that was a wreck. That is the second caution of the race. Don't see anybody really down pit road, maybe only drivers but 20th on back, so we're going to step away for a quick side-by-side and be back with you for the restart. So again, stay with us, please.
I want to leap over buildings, want to fly over the shores, faster than a lightning flash, rushing through the cool night air. Oh, oh. So start ignition, count to 0. I just wanna be a superhero.
Hey, what's up, guys? Godspeed here at the iRacing headquarters. Some exciting news about the upcoming Rallycross World Championship. They've got a wild card entry, and yours truly is going to get that spot. See you guys out on the track.
When I was 16 years old, I was working at a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo.
And welcome back to PTRTV on LSRTV here for the ASRS Maxwell Truck Series, the Michigan 150. Coming down into turn 3 and 4 now on 1 to green. So when we come out at 4, we'll be taking the green.
Yeah, I had the wrong graphic up. This is not the Integrity Racing League, as Evan said. This is the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series, and we are ready for the restart. We didn't have many drivers pit, only about 20th on back. It was a pretty short stint, so We're going to try it again. Maxwell is the leader. Tyler Seville in P2. Pace car is in. Maxwell's going to go at the earliest opportunity. Catches everybody off guard. Out to a couple car length lead already, but green flag in the air.
Battle going on for second right now. Tyler Seville and Mark Cohn side by side with Nick Curling behind them. And I think Cohn's going to be able to clear him down into one. Yes, he will. So Mark Cohn third to second there on that restart, as now Nick Curling underneath Tyler Seville for the third position.
Yeah, this is probably the best run that I've seen out of Mark Cohn this season. So he's trying to take advantage of it and get to the front, and he's only got one more truck to pass. Here comes Nick Curling underneath Seville. Remember, Seville lost the lead on the pit cycle on the first time down, and he's dropping back. Now the 62 Chris Owens to the inside. So Seville, a little bit of bump draft between the 45 and the 62. 45 kind of washed up the track. I think lost a little bit of maybe lost the rear tires in that a little bit. But Seville's going to try to dig on the outside, entering 1 and 2.
And Nick Curlin's going to clear for that third position, but Seville coming back on the outside, and he's going to get to his door here out of 2 and down the backstretch, and he's got a really good run going down into turn 3. Let's see if he can make that stick down there on that outside lane. He's going to make it. It looks like he's going to clear that 45 of Nick Curling, but it's going to be close out of 4, and yes, that 11 is going to clear him.
Yeah, that 45 is just trying to get to the left rear, and well, he's not going to have that opportunity anymore. So Seville will hang on to the third spot, still side by side behind that. That's Owens and Hudson, David Hudson, going for 5th. Hudson all the way down on that first groove, no grip down there. He's going to wash up the track. Owens had to wash up a little bit to give him space to avoid contact, but 62 will hold on to that position. We go back a little bit further. Jared Mogard, haven't talked about him. Second in points. He's in the 8th position right now, getting himself through this field. Then we have Chris Titus in 9th, 46 of Robbie Baskins. That's your top 10, but some battling behind that. Richard Stallings. Jim Foo's trying to get into the top 10 right now. Tim Knott, and who else do we have up there? 28 of Troy Haight.
Yeah, Troy Haight giving that 41 of Tim Knott a push down into the corner. It's going to allow him to just barely clear Jim Foos in that 42, and Troy Haight might clear him as well. It looks like he will out of 2.
Yes, he will. So Troy Haight up to 13th. Foos, and well, I think he wants us to mention this is his first ever race in a Toyota, and try to turn some luck around for his team as it had the season he's won. I don't think he's in the playoffs from what he told us. So going into the wrong direction, back to 15th. Tommy Cannon about to pass him in 16th, and go back a little further, Evan. We haven't talked about him all race because he hasn't been one to talk about because he's been in the back. Brian Yazik in 20th now, trying to close in. Brandon Kreutz behind him in 21st. So
yeah, Brian Yazik and Mogard are going at it in the points, but they both started in the back, but the difference is Mogard's up to 8th. And Yazik, he's still back here in 20th, so he still has a lot of work to do if he wants to catch back up to Mogard. And
the worst part for him is he's right in the middle of the hornet's nest right now, is Yazik. See, he has Brandon Kreutz right behind him, and you see all that double file racing ahead of him. So it's not going to be easy to pass. He's luckily going to have some more pit stops and surely a couple more cautions, but he's going to have to make something happen. But, oh, car in the grass. That's Clarence Bonner in the front straightaway grass. That will not bring out a caution, but let's go back quickly and see what happened to him.
He was one of the drivers that came down pit road under that last caution. Looks like him and Jordan Ashland had some contact.
Yep, Ashland all the way down there on that first groove, and looks like they were trying to split a 3 wide, was it? Nope, the 13, he kind of came down to I think he definitely came down on the nose of the 27. Pretty minor damage to the wall, but that'll put him in nowhere's land now. But up front, Evan, they are back at it, racing again. Maxwell up front by just a little bit over Mark Cohn. Seville trying to show his stuff again, looking to the outside of Cohn. But here comes Nick Curling, looking to the inside off of 2, trying to get that run on the low side. Not going to happen for the 45.
Seville got just a little bit high there in 1 and 2, and allowed Curling to take a look underneath them, but Seville and caution out now on the backstretch.
Jay Graves Jr., Brandon Kreutz are wrecked on the back straightaway. I don't think that 93 could pay money to stay out of a wreck in this series, it seems like.
like that all started with John Kennedy and Jay Graves Jr.
See, Kreutz was slowed up behind the 42. And yeah, as you said, that Kreutz was just an innocent bystander there. He was on the inside groove, and as you said, something with the 89 and the truck he was racing with. We'll go back and get a better look at that from the chopper cam. 89 into the left rear of the 8, and Kreutz just along for the ride. Had absolutely no idea, completely blindsided by that. But that puts us under the, as I cue the graphic, third caution of the race.
Which now I think some drivers will be coming down pit road here. They ran about 16 laps total, so they'll be wanting some new tires.
I mean, the only driver that we have to talk to mid-race is Brandon, but I have a feeling this may not be a good time to do that. Would you say so, Evan?
It'd be entertaining.
I don't have the sensor button on standby right now, so perhaps we'll have to wait on that opportunity. But pit road about to be a busy place, and we'll see what happens. And Jared Mogard will be the first one to get in his stall because he's parked all the way down there with his at the end of the field starting position. Maxwell all the way at the turn one side of pit road, and Tyler Seville has that number 1 stall, gets in his box smoothly this time, so see who gets the race out of the pits.
But Caleb Finn staying out. He pitted under that last caution, so he's only got about 7 green flag laps or so on his tires.
Alright, who's going to get the battle out of pit road? Maxwell with no real fight. Maybe Curling, I'm not sure who got it. Nope, Seville will get second. Looks like Curling will settle into 4th. And then we have Mark Cronin 5th, but again, that is because the 91, he just, he stayed out, and I don't think this is a bad call. I think this is a learning call for a lot of drivers. I don't necessarily know if it's going to go well, but I don't think it's going to be the worst thing we've ever seen. So we haven't really had a long enough run to really pay much attention to the tire fall off. We do know it does exist, but I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if you've been paying attention to it more than I have, Evan, what the fall off has been in these runs we've had.
I haven't been paying attention to that either, so I don't know about the fall off.
So we're gonna be learning together. I don't know, Evan, if maybe you want to go and see if we can talk to Mr. Kreutz if he's in a condition to talk to us right now. He may be a little upset. I'm not quite sure.
He's good.
All right, bring him on in. Brandon Kreutz, PTR on LSRTV. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So you were in the Hornet's Nest there, battling with Yazik and a couple fast drivers, and it looks like you just got completely blindsided there. Was that pretty much what it looked like from your perspective?
Yeah, I had no idea what happened. At first I thought maybe we were 3 wide and I didn't realize it, but you know, going back and looking at the replay from you guys, it looked like you know, race and deal. Someone got turned and straight into my door, and unfortunately one of those deals that'll end my night. But you know what, it is what it is. We'll shake it off and see if we can come back next week. Yeah,
so what was the racing like out there? I mean, we saw you running in the mid-20s, but it did seem like it was a lot of competition and a lot of hard racing in that mid-pack.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was really fun. You know, you can go 3 and 4 wide and just race it out and have a good time with these guys. And you know, instances like that wreck, it is what it is. And you know, it was really fun racing with these guys. These guys know what they're doing every week, and every time I come to race with these guys on a Tuesday, I look forward to it.
All right, man. So, I mean, we wish you could have some better luck in this series, and we hasn't really been the best for you, but they're at Bristol next week. I know you're a short track guy, so you'll bring your stuff for that race, but thanks for talking to us, Brandon.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we are presumably going to get 1 to go this time by, and the survey says... I said that a couple seconds early. Yes, it is 1 to go, so number 91 of Caleb Finn will get them started he will line up to the inside. Sam Maxwell, who's led, I believe, the better majority of this race, 17 laps. He will start outside, and remember, Tyler Seville, who led the opening probably about 8 or so laps, he's going to start behind the 91, which, I mean, that could work to his benefit, or it could also work to his detriment. It really just depends on that start. And I don't know what happened to that bush in turn 2. I don't know if anybody saw that on camera, but there was a bush in turn 2 that you'll have to watch the broadcast.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, if you watch the broadcast, you will see that bush I just saw in that building in turn 2. It was a really sketchy bush. But anyways, as I was trying to say, Seville may be at a detriment. He may be at an advantage being behind that 91, Evan. I'm not quite sure, but I'll let you take it away for this restart.
Yeah, the 91 Caleb Finn out there staying out on 12-lap old tires. Sam Maxwell to his outside on fresh tires, and fresh tires from there on back. Tyler Seville in 3rd and Nick Curling in 4th. As they get ready to come out of turn 4. Be interested to see when this 91 of Finn decides to go. If he goes early, later, just kind of in between. And that's going to be real important for the 11 to guess it. And we'll see here as the pace car is off what he decides to do, and he's gone.
Yes, he is. Maxwell did not get the start, did not line up with that number 91 on the restart. So Caleb Finn got up to about 4 truck length lead. I'll tell you, he's probably going to need every last inch of that lead. They're going to file off into corner number 1. Maxwell right against that yellow line. In that funky bush there on the camera. Someone else has to notice it. Coming off corner number 2, here comes that 11 of Seville underneath Maxwell. Thought he had the run, and, well, who's in 4th right now? Where did Bogard come from?
Bogard from 36 now to the 4th position, as Caleb Finn is getting swallowed up by these guys. Got really tight there in 3 and 4. That's going to allow Maxwell to get underneath it. And going to be 3 wide for the lead with Seville on the bottom, Maxwell in the middle, and Caleb Finn up top.
Here we come off of the vault into corner number 4. They are 3 wide into corner number 1. Does somebody give? Is anybody going to give? Someone probably should. It's going to be the 91 that gives the 98 and the 11 the opportunity to battle the 91. Sorry, the 98 pinched the 11 down. The 11 couldn't get turned down there. Lost his momentum. Here comes Bogard to the outside.
Bogard now up to the 2nd position. Going to try and get by Maxwell here if he can. 36 to 2nd and 30 laps here at Michigan. And we'll see if he can do anything with our leader, Maxwell, who it looks like Maxwell probably has had the dominant truck so far tonight. We'll see if Bogard can do anything about that.
Yeah, Bogard is going to try his best to try to take advantage of the situation. We know that Yazik does not have the track position right now, so this is going to be big in the points if he can get by, but we know Seville has been trying to get this track position back ever since the pit stops. Hasn't been able to, but he still is in 3rd, and he still is ready to make a move.
Yazik is back there in 15, so he's still, like you said, Corey, got a long ways to go, but Caleb Finn, who started on the front row, is now back into the 12th position, so it doesn't really look like that has worked out for him.
Yeah, Finn is definitely struggling on that call right now, but, well, it was a learning call. He learned from it and probably learned that it's probably not the best call to make going forward, so he's going to have to hope for a caution and hope he doesn't lose too much time. Brian Yazik behind him trying to make that time back up and try to get into contention, but into the fence off of the corner number 2. I think that was the number 25 of Chris Titus, trying to close in on him on camera.
Yeah, it was Titus. He was in 8th, and he just got into the wall on a 2, and he's already back to 22nd. He's going to have a gaggle of trucks coming up behind him, 4 wide out of turn 4. That's not going to end well, and cars around.
Oh, here we go. We're wrecking off of corner number 4. Who is that? Oh, in the pit road is Tommy Cannon.
114 to 84, 75 David Hudson. And I believe Robbie Baskins as well.
Yeah, you can see they were 4 wide, the 114, the 94. I think that was a 75. 46 into the pit barrier there. Obviously the 114 down pit lane. And who else was that? I believe it was the 84 sideways on the front straightaway. So just about at the halfway point, a couple laps before that. And the 4th caution of the race, and well, it changes some things now. We're gonna most likely have another set of pit stops, but Maxwell
I think we're gonna see some guys stay out, Corey, because they only ran 8 laps. I don't think we'll see too many come down pit road.
But even given what happened, this is about the same time frame, Evan, as what we saw with Caleb Finn. You think that people will still be wanting to make that call to stay out?
We'll see. I think we're going to have kind of a mixed bag. I think some will come down. I think some are going to stay out. But we'll find out. Its pits should be open this time. We'll see what our leader Sam Maxwell decides to do here.
Yeah, we'll have to find that out together and see if anything is going to change on the strategy call here tonight and maybe shake up the lineup. But what has shaken up the lineup is that 00 being in contention, who hasn't been up there all race, had a horrible starting position, but here he comes ready to pounce and ready to try to go for another win, and they will all come down pit road. Mogart stays on the racetrack.
And he is all alone out there.
That is an interesting call. He was at 2nd, and you can see we're going to go and look behind him, and
I see 2 cars, and I don't know if they are a lap down or not.
Oh, I mean, we've seen before him hold off people on newer tires, but I don't get that call, Evan. He was in 2nd. I could see maybe in 10th, 12th, but
I'm just assuming that he thought that there'd be people that would stay out with him, which I guess he has one guy. It's Christopher Gaither out there, but 2 trucks is not going to hold up his fresh tire guys very much, if at all.
Yeah, he's going to definitely have some struggle, but we'll see what happens, and again, we'll step away for another brief side-by-side and be back with you for the restart. So, again, stay with us here, PTRTV on LSRTV.
Went with them one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can do more with the race car. You know, the harder you drive it, a lot of times, the better it goes. You can crawl up on that wheel and feel like you made the difference at the end of the night. Asphalt car, you can't overdrive them. Well, that was the first thing that I had to learn right off the bat is, oh my gosh, I've got to discipline myself, not overdrive this thing, and that's how you get the most out of it. Truth be told, communicating the right information to your crew and your crew chief so they can do their job and make their appropriate adjustments for you to go faster and do your job is probably 90% of the game in our world. I've always loved late models. You know, my dream was to be a late model driver driving for a living across the country like Daryl and Don do that drive for me. I mean, that was, truth be told, that was my dream, you know. I always wanted a semi. I always wanted a stacker trailer with 2 hot rods in it and let's go racing. Let's take off with your buddies and go race and chase that dream. Never in a million years did I think it would turn into a Cup Series, and I actually have an opportunity to own 2 you know, dirt late model teams. When you think of iRacing, you don't think of a video game. It's not. It's way above and beyond any of that. You know, dirt racing changes so much. The track changes so much. Being able to capture that, to, you know, experience all those details that surround dirt racing and make dirt racing what it is what makes iRacing so cool, because they did nail all of that. I knew when they came to our shop and scanned cars and went to the detail of getting that car right, I knew that it was going to be over the top, because it blew my mind just the work that went into making sure the car itself was legit. This sport has been around a long time. The competition can't be replaced, and that's what brings people back to the racetrack week in and week out.
And we're back here on PTRTV on LSRTV, finishing up, I want to believe, the 5th caution, maybe 4th or 5th, one of the two. But regardless of such, we are racing here in about a half of a lap. Jared Mogard staying out on 7-lap old tires along with Christopher Gaither. So the top 2 on older tires and everybody else on 4 fresh ones. Evan, get us going.
Coming out of turn 4 now, waiting for the pace car to drop down onto pit road. See how those no tires work for Jared Mogard. Pace car now in, waiting for him to get this race back underway. And there he goes, and he gets a pretty good jump over that 92 and the 98. But that 98 is going to be side by side with the 92s across the start finish.
Yes, he is, that 92. Let's see if we haven't talked to him all race. Not sure what kind of pace he does have. So we'll hope that he is able to get going and not cause any issues up front. See, he will fall back in line behind the 98, and here comes Seville behind him. Seville looks to the inside, has those fresher tires, should be able to get him pretty easily in 3 and 4.
Going on into 3 and 4 side by side for the 3rd position, and the 11 of Seville is going to take that. Now Nick Curling trying to get by that 92 of Gaither out of turn number 4. Curling to the inside now, down the front stretch, and he might even be able to clear him before they get to turn 1. Does not look like they're going to be able to. Now Troy Haight looking to maybe go 3 wide, now ducking underneath that 92.
Yes, he is. So here he comes into corner number 1 and 2. We see almost 3 wide going Troy Haight, the 62 and the 1 a cone. Off of corner number 2, but up front, here we go for the lead. Maxwell to the inside, Mogard battling for that lead. Seville going top 3 under a blanket. Here comes Maxwell into corner number 3, trying to get to the left rear, trying to push Mogard up the track, give him that momentum in that preferred second groove. Door to door off corner number 4.
Mogard having that momentum up on that top lane. Tyler Seville right behind him. What's he going to do? Is he going to try and go 3 wide? Is he just going to push him? Right now looks like he's just going to push Mogard, as that 98 is really trying to side drive that 00 Mogard to go down into turn 1. Looks like Maxwell might clear him here, but will Mogard be able to fight back? He is going to try and get underneath him, but Seville's underneath Mogard, so that's going to give Maxwell the lead.
Yeah, Maxwell has the lead. Seville to the inside of Mogard into corner number 3. They're door to door, but Maxwell is trying to hold off that 11 while he's trying to hold off the 00 at the same time. So these guys are racing hard and heavy for the lead, and Nick Curling trying to tag on to the end of this battle. And you can see 3, 4 wide. We're wrecking on the front straightaway.
It's that Christopher Gaither around Jordan Ashland hard into the outside wall there.
Yeah, we have about 4 to 5 trucks struggling there. You can see significant damage to Jordan Ashland, and we know Ashland has one of these top drivers, so let's go on to the replay and try to find out what happened. See off, it looks like I think Gaither just got loose, and then Ashland just got into the back of him. And then as Ashland spun in the middle of the track, I think he collected a few drivers in the process. So it looked a lot worse than it really was, but regardless, it puts us again under these. We cue the graphic, the 5th caution of the race.
So what do you do now? Do you pit?
I think, yeah, at this point, I think that was a short enough run. You have to stay out, but if you're Mogard, you're in a tough spot, really, no matter what you do right now.
We'll see as pit road is open. Maxwell looks like he's going to be coming down, and see at least one driver staying out, and at least for now, he's the only guy out there. Is that Chris Owens, I believe? Yes, it is.
Yep, so Owens will stay on the track in that number 62 machine, and He'll be the Lone Ranger to do so. Everybody comes in, but is this going to be the opportunity to take 2 tires? I think if there is any opportunity to do so, this is probably the time that you're going to want to try it.
See, looks like everyone is going for 4 tires. Mark Cohn is going to win the race off pit road, but he should line up in the 3rd position due to Chris Owens and Clarence Bonner staying out.
Yep, so we'll see how this does play out. And again, we're past the halfway point. We're 43 laps into this race, and we've seen probably a little more cautions than I would have expected, but we have seen some hard and aggressive racing. We still have 25 drivers on the lead lap. Tommy Cannon in 26, the first one off the lead lap, and a couple retirees. It looks like Gaither has pulled behind the wall. Chris Titus, Brandon Kreutz, Jay Graves Jr., Jason Stewart, Mark Emerson all are behind the wall, and still plenty of time to lose track position on a bad call or on a mistake, so you still have to make sure that keeping that truck in a good position. But very interested to see what that 62 can do. He has been in the top 10 all race. We do know he has some speed, but he's going to have to really show it now.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit better scenario for him than it was for Mogart and Gaither, as they only have probably about 5 green flag laps on their tires. But I'm going to be interested to see mostly how this works for Bonner, because he has a little bit of front end damage on that truck. I wonder if that might hurt him trying to get going.
Yeah, he very well may. And trying to look at that here, you can see that there is a little bit of crinkle on it, but I don't think it's anything drastic. But it doesn't take a lot on tracks like this to get that thing out of shape, and we lose a little bit of handling, lose a little bit of miles an hour on the straightaway, so definitely something to watch out for.
Also a bit of left rear damage on that truck, but that probably won't hurt him as much as that front end will. Cohen is going to need to time this restart pretty much perfectly to try and keep up with that 62, because I think Maxwell, he's been the quickest truck tonight. Well, actually, Mogart, he was pretty quick there for the little bit that he was out front with those fresh tires compared to, or along with everyone else. So Maxwell and Mogart have kind of been the class of the field.
Yeah, they have, and it really, I mean, they haven't been able to pass. I think passing has been just difficult tonight no matter what you do. So it's really hard to tell if they are indeed faster or if they're just kind of running those perfect lines to maybe just avoid drivers being able to get the runs that would normally cause them to make passes. So but whatever is happening, we are back here again for another restart. We're going to have to see how the 13 and the 62 can get this going, and Maxwell will be starting on the outside of row number 2, and we have Mark Cohen on the inside of row number 2. So which one of those fresher tire rows is going to get this start? And we're going to have to find out together.
I'm a little bit worried about Maxwell being up in that outside lane. If Bonner, he might not get going here because of that front end damage, and if so, that's really going to hurt that entire outside lane.
Down the back straightaway we come, and getting ready for yet another restart here tonight. And what's going to happen, we only have 30 laps to go, so this race is starting to get to its waning stages. So this is going to be the time where you're going to have to really set yourself up and figure what you're going to do for pit stops out if we do have more cautions. What are we going to do if this does go green? We do have enough fuel to go to the end, so is this going to be a green run? We'll have to find out together. We come through corner number 3 and 4 yet again, and again, top 2 on older tires. So let's see if they can hang on, and if they can, for how long. Pace car is in. 62 will take them later in the box this time, it does appear, and really big check up there on the front straightaway. Green flag in the air. Everybody's scrambling, trying to get themselves going in the pack. That was a really slow restart.
Yeah, Bonner did not get going very well, and now Mark Cohn is going to pull to his inside and clear him as they go down into turn 1. Now Sam Maxwell underneath that 13 of Bonner, who is dropping back like a rock. Right now already back to the 4th position and looking to lose 5th and 6th to the 45 and 11.
Yes, he is. The 45 of Nick Curling, the 11 of Tyler Seville. Seville has not been able, as I said a couple times, has not been able to get back to the front ever since he had that pit road mistake with the first stop of the race. He's to the inside of Bonner for the 4th spot. Maxwell already has cleared. Maxwell is in 3rd. He's trying to go for these 2 drivers on old tires right now.
Here comes Mark Cohn to the inside of Chris Owens for the lead as they go down into turn 1. Fresher tires on that number 1 truck versus the 62 of Owens, but Owens is going to use that outside lane to his advantage and hold off that 1 is now Maxwell to the outside of Cohn.
Yeah, Maxwell is to the outside. That's where you want to be, and he'll clear Cohn, and that'll set him up to just have to deal with that number 62 of Chris Owens. And I don't think it's going to be that difficult for him to do so. We'll see what happens. He's going to look to the outside, try to get to the right rear quarter panel off of 4. Not going to happen as Seville to the inside of Cohn. Here comes Maxwell trying to get to the right rear. Can't do it. 62 all over the track trying to block him.
Maxwell just barely going to get to his right rear. Not close enough to... Close there to enter the corner. He almost got up there to it, but out of turn 2, he's going to kind of stay in line for now. He didn't get the run he needed out of 2 to pull to his outside or inside.
Yeah, he didn't, so he's going to stay in line as that number 98 machine we come off back straightaway into 3. 62 seems to scale it off in there just a little bit more. And now it's Seville, top 4 under a blanket here. That 62 really has brought these guys together as they struggle to get by him, and it's just going to be a battle as the laps click away. Only going to be 25 to go next time by. This race is really coming to a close quickly.
Yeah, and that's what happens when these guys run green. They can really click off a lot of laps, about 41 second-ish laps here as Maxwell gets in the wall on a 2. That's going to allow Mark Cohn to get to his inside, and he might be able to clear once they get down into turn 3, but that's going to allow Chris Owens to get maybe a 2 truck length gap or so as they go down into turn 3.
Yes, it is. We come in 3. Maxwell's going to sail it on the outside and try to hang on to that momentum. Cohn really low on the track there off of 4. That's not going to be the optimal line. That's going to cost him a little bit of momentum. Here comes the 11 drafted behind the 98. That's going to give the 98 a surge in 1. Maybe enough of a surge to get to the back bumper of the 62. We look back on this. They're 3 by 3 in the mid-pack. Jordan Harnish and company about in the mid-teens. A lot of hard racing going on. Brian Yazik is finally in this mix. Rich Brown as well. So racing all over the speedway in this end of the race.
Yeah, Yazik out there to the 11th position now after starting in about 36th. But we still have the battle for the lead going on. Now Sam Maxwell pulling to the inside of Chris Owens. Tyler Seville standing in line behind Owens, trying to give him a little bit of a push here as they get ready to go down into turn 1. Maybe a little bit of contact between the 11 and 98. That was very close there down the front straightaway, down into turn 1. Maxwell down on that unpreferred lane, the very bottom. I don't know if that's going to work for him. He's getting a little bit tight out of the corner. That's going to allow Seville. Seville got really tight there out of 2 and lost momentum.
Yes, he is. Seville is in corner number, well, he's down the back straightaway rather, heading into corner number 3 in that number 11 machine, trying to figure out where to go at the moment. Sam Maxwell is to his inside. Look at that surge all the way up in the 3rd groove. He gets by Maxwell, clears for that 2nd spot. Now he just has Owen in that car and that truck in the lead with the older tires, looks to the outside. This is what he needs. This is the opportunity. This is where he wants to be.
But he cannot stay on his quarter panel. Now he does as he goes down into turn 1, back on that quarter panel of that 62, and he's going to clear him. Contact. 11's going to go around.
He's around. This is going to wad up the whole bunch of leaders right now. Mogard sneaks by on the top, but this is going to be a caution and take out 2 very quick drivers.
Looks like Seville got damage there as well as Maxwell. Maxwell got quite a bit of front end damage there.
And we'll see what happened on replay and see the 62 to the inside, Seville in the 11 to the outside, and 62 just couldn't hold it down there. Gets into the left rear. Maxwell hard in the back of the 62. Also gets into the 11. See, someone just dove through that without slowing down, trying to gain positions. Can't tell who it was, but it will score right now. Owens as the leader. Maxwell in second, Cone in third. I thought Mogard was going to be the leader after that, but
caution came out pretty early there.
Yep, so it didn't give him that call, and I mean, obviously some damage is going to have to get repaired, and we'll see how that happens. If they're going to make that damage at this point, I mean, you can't really stay on pit road at this point in the race. You can't stay on pit road for that long because you can't lose that track position. So it really puts you in a bind. Look at Maxwell. Look at all that front end damage. Look at the rear end damage to that machine. That's going to slow him down quite a bit, but what else is he going to do at this point?
Yeah, these guys have to come to pit road. I know all the top three have quite a bit of damage there. Then I think they were the main drivers kind of caught up in that incident along with Tower Seville. But I do see a few drivers staying out on track.
Yep, on the track, Richard Fletcher and a couple other drivers. Actually, Richard Fletcher, and he's the only one up on the lead lap I see staying out right now, so that'll be interesting. But we're going to step away for another side-by-side as we should have quite the exciting restart as this race comes to a close. So again, stay with us here, PTR on LSR.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
I remember a couple years into my tenure at Hendrick Motorsports, I was asked to go fill in at a road course test at Road Atlanta for Jimmy Johnson. He had tested the first day and couldn't test the second day. And I was nervous. I'm testing for Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. Man, I better be ready. You know, Chad Knaus and all those guys, they expect perfection. So I spent hours racing on iRacing at Road Atlanta. And when I showed up, I was right on top of Jimmy's times from the day before. And they didn't know how. They couldn't believe.
And we're back here yet again. We're down the back straightaway. We are now going to be under 20 laps to go once we take the stripe 19 at the line. And, well, Richard Fletcher, he in the 47 chose to stay out that time by, so he is going to be the leader. And Sam Maxwell with that damage, remember he was in that last wreck, he had damage on both ends of the truck, so, but he is still on the racetrack. He stayed out. He will, well, he didn't stay out, but he didn't get much of it fixed, so we'll see how that hinders him. Mogard and Kurt Quist and Devin Serra round out the top 5. Pace car is in, waiting for Fletcher to get the race underway yet again. He does so, and, well, Maxwell can't get going. Not sure if it's because of the damage. Gets a push from the 94, but Mogard goes straight into second, and Mogard's going to try to close in on the 47, and look at their 3 wide as Maxwell drops back.
Yeah, Maxwell's way down on power here, already back to 7th, and he's going to just keep dropping further and further back. The engine on that truck is very damaged.
Yeah, it was not just aerodynamic damage to that 98. He is pretty much a moving roadblock at this point as he just goes back through the field. You can just see he cannot get out of, he's about 10 miles an hour off of the pace right now. But up front, that 47 has lost the lead. He's getting split. He's all the way up top, 3 wide. Haggerty, 94. Serra and the 20 get by. Serra and the 94 dooring each other down the front straightaway here. Haggerty right behind that. Troy Haight as Mogard drives off into the distance.
Yeah, Mogard is loving what he's seen in his rearview mirror right now. The 94 and 20 side by side. That's just allowing him to really pull away here, already up to about 0.3 of a second, 3.5 of a second, somewhere around there, but they're still side by side for second there. Looks like Kurt Quist might clear him here. Yes, he will, but Sarah's going to have the advantage going down into turn 3 with that inside lane, but he's going to slide up the track here out of 4 and going to lose his momentum probably.
Yes, he will, and this is going to be amazing news for Mogard. He's going to be able to pull away if he can play his cards right and nail his line. But it does look like Quist will get sole possession a second. He only has a 2-car length deficit to get to Mogard, so he should be able to use the draft as Serra gets turned by the 6 of Haggerty. Serra sideways off a 2.
Serra saved it.
He'll save it, and to be honest, didn't really lose much momentum. Haggerty all the way to the inside. They're going to be 3-4 wide. Mitch Brown in the play. Here they come into corner number 3. Yazik to the top. We haven't talked about him all race. Haggerty washes up the track into Brown. They're 3 wide with Yazik to the top of the track off of 4.
Yazik is now up to, where is he at now? The 4th position after starting in the back and kind of being in the back for most of this race, but they're 3 wide behind him with Haggerty down on the bottom, Devin Serra in the middle, and Richard Stallings up top. Still 3 wide as they go down into turn 1 and 2. See, this is going to need to fizzle out here as Haggerty is getting tight, sliding up the track. 117
hard in the wall.
Go around.
See what happened, trying to see who that was. I lost him on camera there. That was Devin Serra in the 20. Hard lick to the barrier on the back straightaway. I'm not even sure which side of the wall he did hit, but you can see, oh, the 117 and him just made contact off of corner number 2.
There's a little bit of contact before that with Jared Haggerty, which kind of caused him to slide up the track there before he got into Stallings.
See, Stalling was already going to be in the wall himself anyways, and Serra, he was going to be in the wall as well, but obviously with that 117 up there, just kind of made that process happen a little bit quicker for him. But now we're going to be pretty much at a shootout style distance. It'll be about 11, 12, maybe probably closer to 11 laps to go for the restart. And it's just funny how things play out, Evan. We saw Mogard and Yazik start pretty much shotgun on the field, both of them in the top 5 when it matters.
Yeah, looks like they just ended up starting 34th and 36th, and they are 1st and 4th. So good run by both of those drivers to get up through this field when it has been very hard to pass. Kurt Quist in second and Troy Hayden third. So every single one of the top 5 started outside the top 30, Corey.
And how many times can we say that has ever really happened?
And there's a lot of the field coming down pit road. Looks like 3 trucks so far staying out. There's only about a 6-lap run on tires, so it's going to be interesting to see how this works.
Your leader is one of the ones to stay out. It looks like Clarence Bonner, Richard Fletcher. Again, Richard Fletcher's been out probably he's been out longer than anybody that's currently left in the field. Mark Cohn, 5th on back, have come to pit lane. So we'll see how this plays out. Who gets the battle off pit road? And then ultimately, how much time are we going to be green? And how long is it going to take, if at all, for these guys to take a shot at the guys who stayed out?
Well, Corey, we had some 2 tires there with Troy Haight. He came out of the pit road first, and he's going to be lining up, looks like about 5th on this restart here. The first 4 tires are going to be on Kurt Quist, and then Brian Yazik, Mitch Brown, Jared Haggerty, Jordan Harnish. Where'd Jared Mogart go?
He's leading. He didn't pit.
Oh yeah, he stayed out. That's where he went.
Yeah,
Yeah, he stayed out. That's where he is. I was looking for him over from like 6 on back, and that's why I couldn't find him.
Yep, he's getting the ball game there, Evan. Getting the ball game. But a little bit early, or do we say take your pick?
We're gonna have about 10 laps, so it's time to take the picks. I'll let you go first, Corey.
I am going to go with none other than Mr. Brian Yazik.
All right, Brian Yazik. I'm gonna go with. Let's see. I'm gonna take Mitch Brown. He started back in about 35th, and now up to the 7th position, was 5th before he came down pit road. So 3rd truck on 4 tires. I think he's gonna get it done. Actually, 2nd truck on 4 tires. 3rd out of pit road.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be 4 drivers rather. Mogard, Bonner, Fletcher, and Cohn, all of the drivers who stayed out. So it's going to be a matter of Mogard and Bonner, and actually Mark Cohn for that matter, pretty much have between 8 and 10 laps on their tires, but probably 5 of them being green. Fletcher has been out there for a couple cycles now. Altogether has 21 laps on his tires, as we pull that graphic up for you guys, and you can see how many laps it's been since each driver pitted. You can see 2 and 1 laps for the drivers who just pitted, and again, that 47 I think is the one that I'm most concerned about, Evan.
Him and Mark Cohn. Cohn has some front end damage there. I don't know how well he got going on the last restart, but I don't know if he has engine damage. It's going to be tough for him to get going here.
And of course, at the end of the race, I mean, this is when drivers, under any circumstance, they're going to be going for it. And regardless of tires or not, whether they have the time to pass them genuinely, this is when drivers, drivers lose their patience, and we may see 3-4 wide moves. And if we have enough of them, if we have a couple quick cautions, Mogart I think is obviously the fastest probably of these guys that did stay out. So a couple quick cautions, he gets out there to 3-4 car length lead. We have a quick yellow. He could still sneak this one out.
The one thing about Mogart is he is very hard to pass. He will pinch you down. He'll do whatever it takes to not get past. He is very good at defending positions and all that. So it's going to be tough for these guys to get by him, especially when it comes down to the last 11-10 laps.
Yep, that is definitely no lie at all. So how's it going to work out? Let's find out together. We come through the back. We'll come down the back straightaway into corner number 3, and well, it's going to be interesting how this plays out. We still have 25 drivers on the lead lap. Does look like Maxwell, the last lap, had some significant repairs done. Obviously, he needed it after how far he did drop back. So 25 trucks on the lead lap with what'll be 11 laps to go in this race. We come off corner number 4, and Mogard in a familiar spot to front of the field, but he is not really at the advantage right now. How can he pull this off? Can he hang on? Pace car is in, and he goes at the early possible convenience. We are back racing here, and look at the jump he gets over his companions.
He got a huge jump, especially over that inside line with Fletcher, as the top 2 on the outside lane already cleared him, and now Mark Cohn going underneath the 13 of Bonner to take that second position.
Look at Brian Yazik to the outside of the 47. That's already one spot. He's going to go right to the inside, show off those 4 fresh tires. Look to the inside of Bonner, and he shouldn't really have to fight for it. He should just be able to sail it on in there. And just look at that, just powers on in there. And well, my pick's looking pretty good right now. He has only Mark Cohn and your leader in front of him, Brian Yazik, trying to pull off the last to first here at Michigan. 10 laps to go.
We'll see if he can get by those drivers. I think it's going to have a pretty good shot at it. I think those guys in front have kind of had more speed, just raw speed, but Yazik's got those fresh tires, and it's kind of hard to beat fresh tires.
Yes, it is, but well, if you have enough will and you have enough desire and you can make that truck wide enough, anything's possible. But Mark Cohn, he wants to go for the lead on Mogard, and well, that's definitely going to help Yazik out to close in and get there, but you still got to do what you got to do. 9 laps to go. Remember the the ASRS cutoff lap to get this race restarted under a caution is about 6 to go, so not a lot of laps to play with right now.
Yeah, probably will need a caution within the next 2 laps or so to be able to get this race back underway, which right now it kind of seems like it might go green for at least another 3-4 laps, so we'll see. Hopefully it can go green to the end, but this battle for the lead is starting to get pretty good.
Yep, Yazik has got there. Hello, I'm here. I want this win. I got the tires, so I'm going to make something happen, but we do know Yazik does play clean. He is not going, well, at least he hasn't thus far from what we know. Chose to use the bumper, so he's going to get by in the cleanest way possible, and he's going to have 8 more circuits, 16 miles around Michigan. Mogard swerving, trying to break the draft. These guys have pulled out to about a 1.5 seconds over 4th place Brown.
And here comes Mark Cohn, and caution out. This race should get back underway.
I see Richard Fletcher backwards on the entrance of corner number 1.
As well as Nick Curling. Looks like that started with Fletcher, the 2 of Callaway, and Curling.
Yeah, Callaway just went up the track into Fletcher, and then Nick Curling was sent for a ride in the process. A couple drivers go in the grass, but it did appear to mainly just be a 2-truck incident. So, I mean, your bet is made at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong, Evan.
Yeah, you're staying out. There's no way. If you come to pit road, you are not going to win this race.
So you're stuck with what you got, and now Yazik in 3rd. All he's got to do is not lose 4 or 5 car lengths like some people have on these restarts, and in my opinion, this one's pretty much his.
Mogard was doing a really nice job there, holding off both Cohn and Yazik, and actually Cohn, he was doing a really nice job too, because he's on pretty much I think he is on the same tire set as that 00 Mogard. So he was doing a nice job to kind of take the battle up there too, Jared, and try and get by him there. He kind of started to make his move right when that caution came out.
Yes, he was, and it's just tough to call. Remember, Evan, it's going to be a green-white checker in ASRS. If the race was going to come down to a 1-lap shootout, they would waive it and continue pacing. They do not allow 1-lap shootouts in this league, not an iRacing rule, a league-specific rule. Obviously, without the green-white checkers implemented, a race usually has to get restarted with 5 to go. Sometimes you could sneak a 1-lap shootout into it, but even given this rule set, we're on 6 to go now. And lap cars have their option to pit now, I do believe. And then typically it'd be 2 laps to go after that. So I think we're going to go green with 3 to go.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's going to be 3-lap shootout here. And I'm going to say probably pretty much anyone in the top 10 could win this race, with how chaotic these restarts are.
And I mean, realistically, I think anybody in the top 4 can win the race, but if we go to a 1-lap shootout, and, well, if all hell breaks loose, I mean, like you said, there's kind of no counting out anybody, in all honesty.
So right now, all 5 of the top 5, except for Mark Cohn, starting outside the top 30. Then you have Mark Cohn up there that started in 2nd and is still running in 2nd.
Man, this has been by far the best run for Mark Cohn. I did go and look at the stats earlier on him because I was curious, and the best finish he's had this season was he's run 5 races. Most recently a 29th at Kentucky, a 36th at Chicago, 7th at Gateway, and that was his best finish of the season, a 17th and a 34th at Kansas and Martinsville respectively. So he's been up there, he's led some laps, he's been going for it all race, and he's in position to give it one shot at the win, but by no means is that going to be easy with who he has behind him and who he has in front of him. Yeah.
Because Cohn, it did kind of seem like he was a little bit quicker there towards the end of that run before that caution came out, but it's a lot easier to be faster than someone to get by him.
Yeah, that's the racing adage. Passing him's one thing, catching him's one thing, passing him is another. And just how it is with momentum here at Michigan, you don't have that momentum that you can just go anywhere with. You can't necessarily pick whatever line you want. You're kind of secluded to that one line in each turn, and if you don't have maybe a little bit of help, but you don't have to get the whole truck ahead of him, Evan, to win the race. All you got to do is get 1/4, you got to get 1 inch. That's all you have to get on your competition. If you can get side by side off of 4, you may be able to side draft and maybe you just bump your way and just get him at the line.
Yeah, I think to really pass someone, you're gonna have to get to their outside, which is gonna be kind of hard to do, especially with Mogard. He's gonna be defending that outside lane, because he knows that too. If someone gets to his outside, he's probably not gonna win this race. Just with how that inside line is, it is very hard to defend down there.
Yes, it is, and there we are, lights out on the pace car, and we're gonna get doubled up, stacked up, and ready to go racing for what will be a 3-lap run to the checkers. We can definitively say this will be the final restart of the night. And remember, Mogard and Cohn on older tires, Brian Yazik and company on newer tires. Couple drivers at the tail end pitted, but I mean, they're going to be not of much significance in this battle. So is it going to be the older tires? Is it going to be the newer tires? Can Will prevail? Will we even have a long enough run to have a battle? Will we have a caution? None of these questions have answers, but they will in about 2.5 minutes time. So stay tuned for what should be a rather hectic and exciting finish. Jared Mogard, remember, he started in the back. Brian Yazik started pretty much shotgun on the field, but Mark Cohn and Mitch Brown, don't count them out. They want to get into victory lane as well. Coming through 3 and 4, let's get them going, Evan.
Like Corey said, coming through 3 and 4 now. This will definitely be the final restart. Might not be the final caution, but is going to be the final restart. That is for sure. Jared Mogard and Mark Cohn on the front row. Then we have Brian Yazik and Mitch Brown. Troy Haight, the top 5. As the pace car gets ready to pull down onto pit road. And there it goes, now waiting on Mogard to get this back underway. And there he goes, and he got a pretty good jump over Mark Cohn, but still, they're going to be side by side for second. Actually, no, it looks like Mark Cohn is going to clear, and that's exactly what he needs to do.
This is going to be 3 laps to go here at Michigan, and Mogard got the advantage he needed and that's going to sail him off into corner number 1. Yazik, he's going to have to make his move relatively quickly. The race could end at any moment. Yazik didn't get too much of a run. He's going to try to get to the outside of Cone. Cone's going to try to block, but he's not going to have the opportunity to. Yazik to the outside. Yazik can't mess around. He needs to make this pass as soon as possible. But look at Cone. Cone's closing in on Mogart at the same time.
Yeah, Cone, he's closing in right to the back bumper of Mogart. Mogart's sliding up the hill out of 2. Here comes Brian Yazik. Is he going to try and go 3 wide here? Not going to have enough of a run to get to the outside of Mogart, but he should clear that one of Mark Cone, and here comes Mitch Brown right with him.
Mogart all over the racetrack. That's the white flag. Thought it was 2 to go, but oh, it's the white flag. So this is 1 lap around Michigan Speedway. Here we come. Yazik to the outside. Yazik, if he can get this, this is the run that he needs. He's going to be door to door. Mogart down the back straightaway. They're dooring each other down the back straightaway for the final time. Mogart, he's going to have to pull off some magic here. I don't know if he's going to have it on these older tires, but you know he's not going to give up. He sails it off into corner number 3. Yazik on that outside groove. Mogart just is not going to have it, but here he comes off the final corner. Can he side draft him? No, he cannot. From last to first, Brian Yazik wins at Michigan.
Jared Mogart coming home 2nd, and Mitch Brown in 3rd. All those drivers starting outside the top 30.
I think we ended on a timer, Evan. You told me it during a commercial break. We may end on a timer, and I'm pretty sure we lost a lap there.
Yeah, we lost 1 lap there.
Yep.
But I really don't think that changed anything.
It did not. Brian Yazik was going to be the beneficiary there, but it definitely threw me a loop there. That's what happens. It was an 80-minute set timer in the race, and we expired it, so iRacing just had to shorten the race by 1 lap. But as we said, I think the call would have been the same anyway. So let's, before we start the post-race show, let's go over the final rundown here from Michigan. In the winner's circle will be Brian Yazik in the number 55, leading 1 lap. Jared Mogart in 2nd, Mitch Brown in 3rd, Troy Haight in 4th, Mark Cone in 5th, Jeremiah Vincent in 6th. Then we have Pete Baskins, Chris Owens, Jim Foose in the top 10, and then Tyler Seville rounding out the top 10.
And Clarence Bonner coming home in 11th, Kenny Baker in 12th, Tim Knott 13th, Jared Haggerty in 14th, Richard Stallings running at the top 15. Then we have Jordan Harnish, Robbie Baskins, Devin Sarah, John Kelly, and Nick Curley in the top 20.
In 21st position, Caleb Finn, Richard Fletcher in 22nd, Zach Calloway in 23rd, Sam Maxwell in 24th, Andy Veltman in 25th, Kurt Quist, Tommy Cannon, Jordan Ashley, David Hudson, and Steve Buhala rounding out your top 30.
Then rest of the field, we have Jason Stewart, Christopher Gaither, Chris Titus, Jay Graves Jr., Brandon Kreutz, and Mark Emerson in 36th.
And that is the field here today, and a slight vibe that the stats may be a little off here, but regardless of that, we are going to take a quick break and wait for these guys to get into the booth with us, so stay with us for the post-race show.
You've been here before, and I was like, never seen it. But I went online and raced online on iRacing, and it literally was like deja vu when I got out on the actual track and tested.
Did you know that, I was going to jump in real quick, the simulator, did you know, like, when you got out there, hey, it's going to be this, or as you're driving, you're like, wow, this really is the same?
It's so similar. It's visually so similar. And the other thing, too, that helps is all the, you can basically, the iRacing software and some of the simulators for the manufacturers are so technical and realistic that they can create the perfect shift point. So I'll shift into the same gears at the same spot on the racetrack, and I'll need to be in the same gear in every corner as I would from the simulator to the real world experience. And so those are things that you don't have to learn when you show up. I don't have to spend the first half of the day learning the track, learning where the shift points are, learning what gear to be in, learning how hard I can brake into the corner. I already know it. And literally it transfers over into real life so much easier these days with how realistic these simulations are.
Wow. Two things come. Road Atlanta is a tough road course.
And we're back here on the post-race show, PTRTV on LSRTV, after a wild finish that ultimately brought Brian Yazik into victory lane. And without further ado, let's start the post-race show. Evan has caught up with third-place finisher tonight, Mitch Brown.
So, Mitch, you come with a third-place finish here after starting 35th. What was it like getting up through the field?
It was crazy, man. I thought about qualifying, but I'm running for that hard charger standings, and I kind of want to just see how it is to start in the back and come from the back to get at the front. You know, as Kyle Larson said, it's fun to start in the back and go to the front.
Yeah, you definitely got to pass a lot of cars there, rolling off in 35th, coming home third. Well, we kind of ended that race like one lap early. Did that kind of catch you off guard, or did you kind of expect that coming?
I saw the white flag and I was like, well, that's weird. Usually it said it should say 2 to go, but I don't know. It really caught me off guard. And, you know, if we hit that extra lap, maybe I had a shot at Brian, but, you know, I'll take a third place any day after starting 35th.
Yeah, how were the trucks handling out there? Looks like there was a lot of guys, especially out of turn 2, struggling with tight trucks there. What was it like for you?
If you really didn't back up your, if you didn't really blip the throttle a little bit, you're gonna get tight off too. And that happened to me once at the start of the race. Kind of hit the wall for 2. But if you just gotta be patient out there, man. These guys are driving. Some of these guys are driving a little bit over their heads, and we need to kind of just take it down a notch. And you know, if we do that, maybe we'll have more green flag runs to show for in the future.
All right, Will, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out to after your third place finish?
Just gotta thank the guys at Dirty Bird Sim Racing. All my sponsors, Dunleavy's Truck and Trailer Repair. I gotta thank Hugh Tools, Wheeler's Auto, Fast Truck. Just so much momentum going into the next race and for the playoffs.
All right, well, thanks for talking with us, and congrats on your third place finish.
All right, thanks, guys.
Now, Corey has caught up with second place finisher Jared Mogard.
All right, Jared, it was a crazy finish there, and it threw us off here a little bit. Looks like we ended on a timer, and that cost by a lap, but with those fresher tires of Yazik, do you think anything would have changed if we had an extra lap?
Yeah, I probably would have gone back to third.
So I guess that worked out better for you. But just talk about how this race went overall, man. We did see a good amount of cautions, but there was a lot of strategy going on, and obviously you didn't have the best of starting positions. So what was it like on your trek through the field?
Yeah, me, Yazik, and Brown there, we kind of had the same idea, start from the back. We trying to get that hard charger award. Yazik got it, clearly, but I don't know, just started from the back and worked our way to the front. I figured that last pit stop when I stayed out, I figured more people would stay out with 15 to go, but they didn't, and that kind of hurt us there. We almost held them off, but other than putting them in the wall there, he was pretty much going to get by us, so we'll take it though for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and a second is never anything to fret about, and it looked like you were going to be in good position to get the points lead back over Yazik, but Yazik obviously, he came out of nowhere and took it away, but still a good finish, and we're headed into Bristol next week. What are your thoughts there headed into Bristol?
Yippee, can't wait. Catch the sarcasm.
Yeah.
Short track. It'll be fun. A lot more yellows, I'm sure. We can't seem to figure it out on a 4-lane racetrack, so I'm sure we can't figure it out on a 1.5-lane racetrack. So pace car will lead most laps, I'm sure, but you know, we'll just get out of there and get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll hope that you're wrong, but I mean, we'll see what happens, and we know how that works out. But again, congrats on the second, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah, thank you. I just gotta thank you guys for the broadcast, everybody at ASRS, and my sponsors, Nick Coffin and Coffin Racing Graphics and Twitch Race Reports, for being on this car, and hats off to Yazik again for stealing it there at the last lap, and a good run by Brown too as well. So it was a fun race. Thank you guys.
10-4, man. And well, without further ado, Evan Black will talk to tonight's victor, Mr. Brian Yazik.
Well, Brian, you completed the last to first, 36 to first there, and you only led one lap, but you led the one that counted.
Yeah, that's the money lap right there. That's the one that pays all the points and the money, and you get to kiss the girls and do the Gatorade showers and all that stuff. So that's the one that matters. I can't believe that crap worked.
Yeah, you're kind of running outside the top 10 for most of that race there, and then just the last 30 laps or so, you started your charge towards the front. What was it like getting up there?
I mean, really, we had a fast truck all night. This HPP simulation, Toyota Tundra for Loud Pedal Motorsports. I mean, we were outstanding all night, but the problem was I make a little bit of en-road and get up through the field, and then caution would come out and kind of reset everything, and you get back into the pack and squirrely with everything. And so it wasn't really until the last, probably like what you said, the last 30 laps where, once we kind of got clear and free of all of the bog and the mess, we were able to go and I really was working on kind of some long run speed stuff, and we never got any long runs. So I knew we took tires on that last restart, and I knew that there was going to come a point that if we could kind of get clear, maybe get up to the outside on one of those restarts, that we were going to be good. And that very next restart, the bottom lane didn't go. So that worked out real nicely for us.
Yeah, well, you got one more race before the playoffs start. How confident do you feel? You got some pretty good momentum going into it.
Yeah, I mean, a win right before the playoffs is never a bad thing. A win at the home track, that's always good too. I've gone to Michigan International Speedway so many times, live about 4 hours north of it because, northern Michigan and all that such. But we got Bristol coming up, and that's, I'm not focusing much about Bristol because we're in the playoffs. We got our 3 wins, so that's all going to set out and be nice. Really, what I'm looking forward to is that opening round, Mosport, Vegas, and kind of Talladega. Mosport and Vegas, I feel very confident, especially at Mosport, that we can get a win and get to the next round, and then we don't have to sweat Talladega. And that might be the first time in my life that I won't have to sweat Talladega as an elimination race. So I'd be okay with that. But yeah, the end of the schedule really kind of falls into a lot of strong tracks for us. So we're set to make a run at the championship. And go get Sam's wheel in this HPP simulation Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, these next few weeks are going to be very fun to watch. Is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to after your win here at Michigan?
Oh, well, like I said, HPP simulation, Loud Pedal Motorsports. Really happy to see some of the J Foose Motorsports guys up there too. We kind of had an alliance going because they're switching over and trying to get their season righted. So trying to help out with those guys and get them up to speed. So good to see a bunch of those guys. I felt terrible for Nick getting knocked out of it. He had a good run, but thanks to you guys and Jim and Sam Maxwell and everybody that keeps everything going. Another plug for HPP Simulation, plug for Adam Blattel, your authorized AMSOIL dealer, Scott Eckert's Chassis, fastest chassis on iRacing. Yeah, I think that's everybody.
All right, well, thanks for talking with us, and once again, congrats on your win.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a great one.
You too.
I think we can say this pretty definitively. I think he is the world's best interview.
Yeah, I always love interviewing Brian. He is so just always happy.
And it's obviously easy to be happy when you are the winner of the race, but we're going to wrap up coverage here tonight. We already gave you the final rundown, so some quick sponsor shout-outs. Air Movement and Fabrications, longtime partner on the PTRTV side of things. Check them out, airmovefabs.co.uk. Kreutz Custom Graphics, if one could enunciate properly. Check them out for any custom paint schemes, and you can do paint. You can do hero cards, you can do t-shirts, anything graphic design related. Check out Brandon. He does a lot of good work, helps us out with the channel and our schemes as well. iBlog iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, and Jason Allison always does a good job helping out with overlays, and he can help you out as well. iBlog.co for all of his work. That's another broadcast, though. PTRTV on LSRTV. We brought you the Sam Maxwell Customs ASRS Premiers, well, ASRS Truck Series tonight. We will be back on Monday next week with the Integrity Racing League, and then we'll be back with you next Tuesday for another broadcast of this same series. So make sure you stay tuned to that, and stay tuned to LSR TV for all the regular content that you are accustomed and love watching, because, well, we got to keep this content streaming and keep these broadcasts growing. So signing out tonight is Corey Silva and Evan Black. Joe Chris was helping us out behind the scenes. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good night. We'll see you on Monday for Integrity.